Devlog time. After about 4 weeks of never touching the game, it is time to launch it. Wow! I also realized there's a Windows update, so I will be right back. I'm about to start doing stuff for 24 hours. Sorry if this is a bit too close to my face. But yes, it's basically 10 p.m. at this point, so let's get to work. I don't know what I'm gonna do for 24 hours, but I'm gonna do something. It's something time. I started out working for about 16 minutes on getting the fence and the blacksmiths to have the correct layering when I walk up to them. At the moment, we do have a script that we put on stuff to make it change layers depending on if the player is above or below the object. So I thought, I may as well try putting that on them. Also, I made some merch. Check the description. So then I added the script to both the giant and small blacksmith, as well as I changed their layer to be one lower than the player. This allowed the player to appear in front of them when walking up to the building, but when you start to go past the building and you pass the midpoint of the building sprite, that triggers the foreground script, which causes the building to go into a higher layer than the player is in. But for some reason, it doesn't want to work with the blacksmiths. It just causes them to flicker in and out of existence. So I kept trying other different things, like grouping them as a child of the building, thinking that would help, but nothing worked. And I realized that while making the script for this video, that if I was a smart child, I would have paid attention to all the details of how the script works. Which the one thing that I was forgetting was to put the villagers on the foreground layer. Which now it does work, we just need to change the script a bit to change how it changes the layers of any object it's put on. However, I did get the fence to basically work like it should. The corners have a little bit of a struggle, but for the most part, the fence has the correct layering when walking around it. Hey, you! We've got an announcement. Our friend,
I like your cut, G,
has said that we must revive the server. So if you are a game developer or just some Chad that wants to talk about game development stuff, you better join the Discord server. You can even self-promote in the project share text channel. So join it now. At one point I got a comment about the light levels in the game, so I made the night a bit brighter as well as made the transition between day and night smoother. I think it looks pretty good, and now it has a perfect loop with no harsh transitions to the next day or to nighttime. What you are seeing here is our beautiful pathfinding functioning. So what we got done for this was the different types of pathfinding, which is the one for ranged creatures, so they will stay back and shoot at you. And the other one that is being shown right now is the one for all the melee divers. So any creature that either lunges at the player, like the Doggo you are seeing right now, or slides like the fish, or dives at the player, which would be any sort of aerial creature like a bat, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure why the little Doggo is half the size it's supposed to be, but it is just a rough presentation of the pathfinding. So soon I will get animations done for the creatures, then it will look a lot better. I later opened up Aseprite to start creating some pixel art. I needed to start to make more tiles for the world of the game, so I set up a 64 by 64 canvas. It was going to be a rock ground, so I had opened up the rock sprite from the game to get some base colors for it. Then it was time to pull up a reference image for what I was wanting to make. At first I just searched up rocks and found this. I thought I would like it, but then later settled on mossy stones, since it was going to be a little mountainous, wettish area. So I started with making some little general rock shapes. Then went back over with green colors to make it all look mossy-ish. It ended up looking like this. Before we continue, I just want to say thanks to anybody that played my little mobile games. So now, Unity is in debt to me for 7 cents. So you know, I'm a high roller now. But I needed to use these tiles for a larger area, so I just duplicated them and turned some of them. I will have to come back later to fix it because it looks fine up close, but I will need to make it look less as if it's all the same tile. I then added a riverish stream thing to the area, but it all looks a bit too flat, so I will have to go back and try to make it look like it's the correct viewing angle. As well as I will probably mess with some of the colors some more, because it doesn't really need to have that much depth, but I think me making the darker colors a lot lighter caused it to look way flatter than it should. I also added a little log because the stream thing is a little bit bigger than the size of the character, so there will need to be a little spot to cross, except it is pretty shallow, so he could probably just go through the water, but whatever. The next tile stuff I had to do was a bridge to the middle of nowhere. So I also started this off with getting some of my in-game references, like the bridge that was going to be in the desert, and I made a straight piece of the bridge, which I managed to make surprisingly not look super flat. I think it turned out pretty well. Then I had to make the end of the bridge, which also had to have a couple supports that went down into the aether. I then used another reference of some clouds to be able to make another tile which goes under the bridge. I will eventually learn how to do the parallax effect, then do that with the clouds so it'll look a little bit cooler. However, that was all I managed to get done in 24 hours, so thank you to all the patrons who have supported the channel. Big Mason 23, the legend of Patreon, Ducky on Quack, Grizzly, Soup Cream, and Titans, and the Rich Boys, Dave the Week, and Michael Zhou. Thank you very much. Very many appreciations.